What's good, guys? It's your boy CS back with another one. Okay, it's been a minute since I've done any public analysis on my YouTube account, so I'll jot through everything that I can in a very quick summary video. And remember, if you want to be in our private group, just DM me, because that's where I post most of the signals and most of the alerts. And if you were in that group, you'd be up in major profits right now. No stop to entry. You would be laughing because everything's been pumping. However, let's move into the tether dominance and see where we are, because I said around this 4%, 4.10 to 4.10%, sorry. That's where I was DCAing out of. Now, we've not come back out of there since I've DCA'd out some of my alts. But what we have seen is a slight correction. So if we go into the daily, we can see this is more like a flag pattern. I mean, depending how I would want to draw it, we could just move this over here. And, well, maybe not that one specifically. If I draw an independent trend line of maybe something like this, from the bottom wick to the top, we could probably get something like that. So if I color that one in yellow, this is the flag pattern. Now, if this breaks down here, then we're full sending. Bitcoin will full send. It'll be happy days all season. Everybody will start erupting again. And that's where we want to be, especially on the tether dominance and the USDC combined. This is the flag pattern that I've been sharing within the group, and it's, you know, to a T at the moment. So, you know, just kindly bouncing up and down, and we've hit the upper echelon. We could come back and get another, you know, hit there, but most likely if we do come back down here, that could just be the final hit before we actually break. So when we look at things like this, we always look at measurements, right? So we take the top and the bottom of the wedge at around 10%. So if we were to break out, let's say somewhere around here, let's say 6.04, and we go to around 10%, we're looking at 5.44%, okay? So that's where we're looking at. It'd come down to this type of region if there was a breakout. Now, the most important things I'm showing you at the start, because you can understand where I'm going with this. So most of the CME gaps are being filled below, which they've taken them out. I mean, there's still that 105-ish, 106K-ish CME gap to watch out for. But in reality, we've got a lot more of these CME gaps to the top side. So we've got one, you know, right here sitting at 114 to 117K. So there's one CME gap, and there's an itsy bitsy CME gap that nobody realizes is there, but it is there. You see that little hole in the candle? That's a CME gap. That means at a minimum the CME is going to come back and hit that 124 mark. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how I know this, and it always happens where everyone comes back and like, oh, CS is right, it finally happened. Whether it's a month or 2 months, right? Bitcoin is, they leave little clues. And if whoever's been with me from way back when, you'll understand, like, there was a CME gap when the SPX nuked, right? When the SPX nuked, let's go. So when this was nuking all the way down here, I kept saying there's CME gaps here, there's SPX gaps here, there's S&P gaps here, there's gaps here, there's gaps here. We are definitely coming back here. But as you remember, a lot of people around here were like, bear market, it's a bear market, it's a bear market. And the same thing, I told them that there can't be any gaps to the top. So on the CME gap, when there is an actual bear market, the bear market it'll be during market hours of the CME. It won't be on the weekends and then there's a gap to fill. It doesn't work like that. The CME is very, very vital by not giving any gaps to the upside so that you realize that it's an actual bear market. It's another confirmation, and we'll get to that point later on when we get to, you know, the end of the cycle. But as I've maintained, it's still a bull market. It's still a bull cycle. And so with Bitcoin, if we just go into the higher time frames, one thing I should have been sharing with, maybe for free, I don't know, but I've been sharing with the group anyway. My spider lines are back in action. The yellow one, as we can see here, that used it as support. We're now using it as support here. What's more intriguing is a lot of people fail to understand that this was the weekly 20. If you go onto my group, my Telegram group, and you click the very first post, there's a video strictly about the weekly 20 EMA, and that's literally what we've done. We bounced off it again, and I kept saying to people, this is the thing, right? I cover all the noise. I block out all the noise. I don't really care what's going on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or any other socials. I really don't care, because for me, I know what happens when this red line gets hit. We get one test, and then if we come back and get another retest, that's when I'm going to be a bit more shaken and think, this weekly might not be able to hold now. But right now, it's doing its job. It's holding. Now, if we come onto the daily and I remove the EMA, well, we can look at the EMA ribbons. We've now reclaimed the 100, and we're trying to bounce it and reclaim the 20 and the 50. So we're trying to reclaim those EMAs. That just means that we're going in a trend. If we bounce and use it as support, we're using the exponential moving average as support so that the trend continues. It's that simple. That simple. Now, this blue channel, we've actually, I'd say we've broken out of. So we could even have a retest. But even more important to me is this yellow flag pattern, right? Now, some people will argue, oh, CS, it's something more like this. And yeah, I would agree. You could have it like that too. I don't. The thing is, because I made this trend line right at the start because I'm trying to join points up together and see where we'd end up. That one also works, so I'll put that one in white. That's like the lowest of the low. But regardless, the point is that we're back into this zone here, and we need to charge into around 114, 115k, and then break out, and then finally Bitcoin can finally make its, you know, parabolic move, and it'll bring alts up with it, especially ETH, which is just, you know, just been chilling for a bit. POC wise, it's trying to make a move as well. And if we go on to ETH is just, you know, chilling. I thought it might come down to 4k because that's a really big weekly level. So just keep an eye on that. 4k is a really big weekly level. As you can see, like 1, 2 hits, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I thought we may get a back test. That would have been a nice back test, but maybe it's not on the cards. Okay, on the dominance, same thing with the dominance, my guys, is, excuse me, on the 4 hour, we're going through a flag pattern. All that needs to do, as you can see through these previous flag patterns, right? We just keep breaking out of them. So from here, flag, flag, flag. Well, I'm on this chart, continuation, and then continuation. So the continuation should help us melt now through actually the easiest bit, because there's not a lot of resistance or support to like around 48. When we get to around 48.94, that's when I'd be thinking of taking like super major profits, because the bottom echelon of that is that purple box. But 48.74%, that looks neat to me. Now, if we zoom out and I show you, you can see all of these were the end of alt seasons, end of alt season. And to me, that could very much mean the end of alt season 2 if we get anywhere near there. That's where my money's at anyway. You can all do what you want at the end of the day. This is just my analysis and why I've just been kicking back. Thing is, when you get early entries, there's not much you really need to do. Like, I don't really want to... if you're working on cross, you don't really want to affect your margin on your current positions. If you want to take out new positions, well, yeah, you could take out cross, but I'd still have stop losses in place at that point, rather than having an isolated position and you just continue with the isolated position from the cross positions that you have. Because remember, the cross positions affect each position that you have, while the isolated position is an isolated trade that you have that does not affect the other positions, i.e. cross. And so once you're in early, it becomes very, very easy to just sit back and wait like I've been doing. I've not really been into making a lot of videos because, well, I don't really need to do anything. I can give you guys signals like I have done in the private group, but like I've just been saying, just you should have bought early and just wait, just hodl. It really that simple. Like if you can hodl, and a lot of people keep saying, yeah, this is a different market. You just get in and out, in and out. If you keep doing that, one thing is you're gonna not maximize your profits. That's number one. And number two, you're going to be getting out so early that you rotate into something else. And when you rotate into something else, that will then, unfortunately, lead you down a destructive road, because at least one of those future trades that you take or investments, you're going to get a big fat red exit cabal candle that's going to take you out. So that's why I always think about hodl positions in reputable coins that have been around for quite a bit, or ones that have, they've got the new steam, they're the new kid on the block, and they've got a lot of call influence where you can get your initials out very quickly and then just let the rest ride. That's all I think about when I have these positions. Now, start of the week candles, I just want to touch on, is something I despise. I hate candles that move like this very, very quickly. Now, the reason I don't like it is because like we're already going to have an SPX gap. We're going to have a Dow gap here because they're already 22% and 27% up on the day before market open, which is in about 2 hours time. I'm not a person that really likes buying green candles. I like buying the red candles, like the ones that I've been telling people to buy here and here and here and here. Like I'm the one that constantly will tell you to do that. I don't like buying these green candles. So it's just something to bear in mind, because if this reverses like on the 4 hour EMAs and we get a rejection here, we may have to come back down again and get a big slap, or we may get a bigger rejection off the 50 EMA. So you know what, we'll put an alert there and we'll see what reaction we have. At the end of the day, we've not closed above the 20 EMA. So until we've closed above the 20 EMA, nothing has been confirmed here. We will see what happens. As for the altcoins, like I don't want to even self-praise myself, but at the end of the day, I've given my blood, sweat, tears, and probably years now it has, to giving everyone perfect positions. I want to touch on Brett because, again, when everybody was shorting Brett and, yeah, we're in a bear market, and like even down here, that you've seen the long that I've taken and why I don't even look at it anymore. But I don't want to look at it. I don't care what goes on with it until we get back up into 1 billion at least, or a 2 billion with Brett. But that's the point I'm trying to make, which is when you get bottoms, like another bottom was here in June, which I called. I think that's just before I went on holiday. Or was it after I went on holiday? Around the time, I kept saying to people, there's a lot of confluence here where it looks like we're going to get a bit of a reversal. And look, you would have been still in profits and a bottom entry. Same thing here with Brett, which is this was a really good entry where I think Sang got in and he's up however much he's up. We can touch base with Sang actually. If he watches this video, then Sang, let us know what you did with your Brett position. But I literally gave that to a T. I actually said to the T 4250. That's what I said, 4250. The lowest of the low was 4237, but 4250, you would have been laughing. You would have been absolutely laughing. There's nothing more to it. The only thing that I'll be looking at now is that Brett has hit, look, to a T. Look, again, to the T. I'm not making this stuff up, to a T. It's hit the POC zone, or my rejection level, and we now want to see this break. So I'm going to put an alert there to see if Brett can actually break through this and we get a candle close above. Apart from that, guys, there's not really much that I need to share, because I've been sharing stuff way back when, and again, we're seeing stuff like the shitcoins, the trolls, the Labubus, they're moving. And to me, that's an indicator that this can go much further and further. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens this week. It's only the start of the week. Market's not even opened yet. And we shall take it from there if we get a pump and a big September pump, because I think if we're going to get an alt season and an end leg, it's going to have to be now and October, and then that's it. There's no, in my brain, there's no way we get any more bull cycle action after November. So basically, I think November, December, that's when the bear market starts, in my opinion, or the confluence stage before we get a Wyckoff reversal and it comes all the way down. That's where my head is at with it all. So take it as you will, take it with a pinch of salt. At the end of the day, we are where we are. Solana is still, going ballistic, whether people like it or not. It's just moving. You can't ignore what's going on in front of us. If your alts aren't moving, stick to the layer ones. And again, I keep saying it, but Doge is fucking cheap. Doge has done nothing compared to Solana and all of them. It really has done nothing. So when Doge moves like 8%, 26%, 26%, 8% in the space of like 4 or 5 days, I'm sorry, but you're literally not following the bigger picture. Like, Doge has it in there, and that the thing is with me is that isn't even Doge's all-time high. Doge went to like 60, 80 bill. This literally just touched it and grazed it and then went back down. It did nothing after that. And if we take everything off, like everything, this just looks super bullish to me. This just looks like it just wants to full send on our one weekly candle and just go ballistic. That's just my opinion anyway. All right, guys, that's where we are at for today's session. I will keep you updated on the group and in the private group of any more setups. But for now, let's just see how Monday and Tuesday play out, and then we can see if there's any more positions and I'll post them through. All right, guys, catch you in the next one.